Welcome to TvArild on Twitch. Maybe I will dare to speak a little English today. No, normally I don't do that because I don't consider my English good enough.
Aviernes, 10. oktober 2025, 10:35, 43, Strean element side, TvArild is now live, streaming ill. Abert Potets pris I lengde uten tilløp deles ut I dag TvArild 10. oktober 2025.
Actually, that is a joke in Norwegian. I will, of course, speak much Norwegian, and if I really dare to speak English, I will cut away the parts in Norwegian and upload only the English parts to my Substack. And this is the room where everything will happen in about 25 minutes. This is some 5 minutes ago. It's the opening of NRK, the Norwegian State Broadcasters transmission. Different prices, different persons from Norway announcing the Peace Prize winners. Ja, velkommen til TvArild. Jeg skal snakke litt på engelsk I dag, tenkte jeg, for det er sikkert en del engelskmenn som har lyst til å se dette her I ettertid. Jeg tenkte å klippe vekk det jeg sier på norsk, og så laste det opp til Substack. Står det skjevt nå igjen? Jeg trodde jeg hadde klart å benke bildet I går, men det skal ikke være lett dette her. Ja, jeg tror vi går rett til live. For vi ikke live nå, skal vi se live. Se direkte. Sånn, nå vi live. Så det skal oversettes til flere språk. I put Norwegian subtitles on. Unfortunately, on live TV in Norway, there is only Norwegian subtitles. I cannot put English subtitles on. So we will have to do with those English subtitles. If that son of a bitch, Donald Trump, if he wins the Peace Prize, it will be a revolution in Norway. He is so bad for the peace, for the world peace. He has started a war against us, against his NATO allied. We are actually in a hybrid war with the United States. From where I'm standing, we are at war with the United States. 50% tax tariffs on steel, that is crazy. He has destroyed everything, and he has destroyed my confidence in America for all. I will never have any confidence. I thought you guys in America were a little intelligent and wasn't going to elect him. Don't you remember what he did on the 6th of January when he was staging a state coup? He didn't succeed immediately once, but now he has succeeded. Now there is an oligarchy. Now he has become the new dictator in America. And, well, I can never have any trust and confidence in America again. Normally I'm not that bad at speaking English, but in front of a live camera, English is, well, I was asked if I could do live streams in English, but I don't think I can do it. I can record and edit in English, but live streams in English, it makes me a bit nervous because my pronunciation is really bad, and there are so many words that I know the words, but when I'm sitting here wondering what to say, how to express that, I don't know so many proverbs. They are very effective in speaking, but then you have to know the right proverbs. I know a lot of Norwegian proverbs, to say more than most Norwegians, but that doesn't help because they are not the same in English. Jeg tror det er en stor bjørnetjeneste å snakke engelsk. Altså ikke en god tjeneste, en bjørnetjeneste betyr jo noe du ikke vil at skal skje. Du har ikke lyst til at en bjørn skal gjøre en tjeneste mot deg, har du det? Det blir ikke særlig bra. Det kan bli rett og slett ganske dårlig. Hvem som får Nobels fredspris? Jeg håper NATO får den, men jeg har ikke hørt at NATO har vært annonsert det som kandidat i det hele tatt. Det er jo en del andre kriger som fortjener oppmerksomhet. For å provosere Donald Trump så hadde det vært veldig greit å gitt en ren miljøpris til en miljøorganisasjon for innsatsen for å bygge vindmøller, kanskje. Det hadde vært en veldig bra ting å gjort. Provosert hele det monsteret. Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a monster, and only playing golf. He's only playing. He doesn't know a shit about how to negotiate. He is very, very bad. The only thing he is famous for is for going bankrupt with casinos. Nobody in the whole world has done that except for Donald Trump. Going bankrupt with at least 2, maybe 3 casinos. I'm not that into the English politics and history, but that's really, and all that makeup he's putting on himself is absurd. I think he had suffered lots of strokes the last few days. Now, my English is so embarrassing that I had to start speaking Norwegian again. Ja, han vil ha fred, det er det viktigste, sier han, og det vil jo med alle. Hvem vil ikke ha fred? Det er klart vi vil ha det. Men vi vil ikke ha fred på en hvilken som helst betingelse. Altså, for det første, Nobels fredspris. Det er ikke for det som har skjedd i år. Nobels fredspris deles ut for det som har skjedd fram til i år, for de siste årene. Og er det noe Donald Trump har gjort, så er det i hvert fall ikke å lage fred. Han påstod at han skulle lage fred i løpet av var det en måned, han sa? Nei, første dagen, første døgnet. Ja, er det noen som synes at det har gått i oppfyllelse? Jeg kan ikke si at jeg synes det, og ikke på noen måte. Nei, jeg håper kameraet ble litt bedre, beinere nå. Det sto litt skjevt, det er veldig plagsomt med det skjeve bildet. Så er det så vanskelig å se på preview-skjermen, for jeg har ikke sett det før det er live. Og det så bedre ut nå, men det er ikke beint nå heller. A bit of problems with adjusting my camera. I don't have very much of an equipment. This is my old TV. When we bought a new one, I put it into this little room with I'm actually making quite a few live streams, but they are of course not in English. They are pre-recorded, all of them, and only one of them is only the weather camera. It's camera facing the park in front of the house, so you can see how the weather is, and right now the weather is quite good. What a fool. That performance he did at FN, it was so bad, so bad. My remote control for the sound is broken, so I just have to adjust it here. Can have some maybe a little less sound before it all starts. Det har vært delt ut mange dårlige fredspriser gjennom tidene. Jeg synes denne Nobelsprisen til Obama var jo tullete. Det verste er vel kanskje den som allerede har blitt... Nei, det verste er vel kanskje den som ble gitt til han afrikaneren som umiddelbart gikk til krig igjen, straks han hadde fått pengene fra Nobelsprisen til å finansiere mer krigføring. Men også den der som ble gitt til Gaza, til Menachem Begin og til Yasser Arafat, den var jo helt på trynet. Altså, før det er blitt fred, jeg skal jo ikke gi priser, før det er blitt fred, vent til det er fred. Men om det skulle bli fred på Gaza nå, så må Donald Trump aldri få den prisen, for at han er ikke kvalifisert. Overhodet ikke kvalifisert. Han er direkte ukvalifisert. Han har jo lagt borgerkrig, og han har lagt verdenskrig i hybridform. Og han har lagt at vi sover jo nesten ikke om netten, og vi bare bekymrer oss for hva i all verden som skjer med kronekursen på grunn av det faenskap og... Ja, selvfølgelig tenker vi litt på økonomi med også, det er ikke bare amerikanerne, men fred er faktisk viktigere enn vår økonomi. Så hvis det bare blir fred i USA nå, først og fremst i USA, USA er viktigere for oss enn Gaza. Gaza har aldri vært viktig for oss, men det er klart at vi ønsker at det skal være fred. De som har vært krigshisserne der, det er jo en Benjamin Netanyahu gjennom alle år. Selv om Hamas har jo alltid vært en terrorbevegelse. Men NRK, de har jo den der innstillingen at ja, ifølge Hamas opplyser, og Israel påstår, har jo NRK mer eller mindre sagt hele veien. Nei, nå vil de jo... De er redde for at Norge skal komme i sånn karantene, sånn som Kina gjorde, etter at Chabon fikk prisen. At vi skal bli frosne ut av USA. So what? Vi skal ikke ha noe med USA å gjøre, vi skal boykotte USA. A little bit in English. There's been lots of bad Nobel Prizes during the ages. Also one because of Gaza, because Menachem Begin and Yasser Arafat, they had a deal, so kind of a deal, named Oslo-avtalen, the Oslo Agreement, which never was realized. It was signed, but never put into action. And they received peace prizes, both of them, and continued fighting. And, well, that fucker, Benjamin Netanyahu, has never tried to make any peace. He is really a fearmonger and a hate-monger. But Hamas, Hamas is a terrorist organization, has always been. Norwegian state television, they say something like, Hamas informs, and Israel states that like we cannot trust Benjamin Netanyahu, which I do agree, but trusting Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, that isn't good at all. It's very, very bad. I hate speaking English in front of a live camera. I don't know if it would have been better with a recording. Maybe if I took my time to write a script, but I'm never writing scripts. I never done that when I was operating radio stations for the first many years as a pirate radio station. Then we got a concession and was enjoying that for a little while. And we got the concession for local TV. We were a big, great success on local TV. We had 24 hours a day on cable TV and with antennas, which I think that is the only thing that counts as freedom of speech. If you don't have to pay anything, is if you can put up an aerial antenna and receive without paying anything. So that is freedom of speech. Cable TV is not, because then you have to subscribe to that cable company, and it should be free, because it says in Article 19 at the FN's Declaration of Human Rights that there should be no limits on free speech, and paying, that is a limitation. YouTube, Meta, and Alphabet, and all those, they are using logarithms, you know what I mean, hiding my content and promoting those extreme violent Republican videos. It's even hard to find Midas Touch and Legal AF and Ada Muckler and all those good people, Lincoln Square and Lincoln Project and all those good YouTubers. They are drowning in all those bad channels like Fox, which is really, really bad. I don't much like the Norwegian state broadcaster either, but or maybe it's pronounced either. I have heard you guys in say both in school. I think we learned either, but now most people are saying either. Is that the same word? I think so, but which pronunciation is correct? That is something that makes me really embarrassed about speaking English. 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Oh, I cannot imagine Donald Trump or Norwegian in Norway. It would be protests. Even I'm now living in Spain because I don't really like Norway that much. I will have to buy a plane ticket, very costly hotel, just to be there to boo him in front when he's holding a speech at that famous hotel, Victoria Hotel in Oslo Centrum. I have to be there to boo him. Of course, maybe there is some people that wants to view that live on both Twitch and on that video platform owned by Alphabet, mostly known as YouTube. I think most of you know YouTube. It's really, really a bad place to be. And Twitch also. Jeff Bezos, as we call him here, Jeff Bezos is very, very bad for humanity. And I'm not going to ever to buy anything from Amazon. Of course, not a single American product, ever. We are boycotting everything. Not only Disney Channel, of course we are boycotting Disney Channel and Netflix and everything. We don't want that shit. We don't want American influence here in Europe. You have destroyed our relationship. You have completely destroyed it by electing that fucking Donald Trump, the worst person in the world. He's a dictator, he's a shit. He is really a shitty person. So we maybe turn up the sound a bit and I can leave the room and come back. I will be back when the price is announced. make my comments. The prize will be announced in English.
Prestisje som å dra opp kandidatene og gjøre de kjent. Kanskje får vi en sånn type pris denne gangen, at det noen mennesker som de ikke hadde sett for seg, eller at kanskje en mindre framtredende rolle på verdensscenen. Og da kan man jo også tenke seg en kombinasjonspris, hvis det skal gå til det grunnleggende humanitære arbeidet som vi snakket om. Skulle man se for seg noe knyttet opp mot disse grasrotorganisasjonene i Sudan, hva om de kombineres med de hvite hjelmene i Syria, som lenge har jobbet for å redde sivile der, men at også hatt noen kontroverser knyttet til seg. Det kunne vært en måte å se på virkelig det sånn redde liv i en krigssituasjon-pris. Ellers så kan man også tenke seg at de går i en mer prinsipiell retning, og der det jo flere ting som spekulasjonen har gått i forkant. Og en ting ytringsfrihet og journalister. Det har Nobelkomiteen vært innom ganske nylig. Problemstillingen veldig aktuell fortsatt med Gaza, hvor vi internasjonale journalister ikke slipper inn for å dokumentere krigen i 2 år. Det for oss en ganske uvant situasjon, og har også gjort noe med måten den krigen har blitt fremstilt på. Og så har du hele problemstillingen knyttet rundt helsearbeidere, sykehus. Det vi ser jevnt over nå at krigens folkerett respekteres mindre og mindre. Og da vil det i så fall være å vende tilbake til litt av de grunnproblemene da, som handler om å beskytte sykehus, syke og hjelpearbeidere som også skal redde liv i en krig. Røde Kors for eksempel kunne vært et alternativ i så måte, eller noen av de andre helseorganisasjonene. Men jeg ser at de fleste spekulasjonene går på organisasjoner, ikke på enkeltindivider denne gangen.
Nobelreporter Knut Magnus Berge, da det bare minutter igjen til døren åpnes og Jørgen Vatne Frydnes kommer ut med budskapet vi venter på.
Det det. Nå vi snart ferdig med å telle ned. Dette jo kulminasjonen av en prosess som har pågått her i instituttet i nesten 1 år. Fra fristen gikk ut i vinter, nærmere bestemt 31. januar, har komiteen jobbet jevnt og trutt. De startet med 338 kandidater og har jobbet seg nedover, og har da endt opp nå i høst med 1 prisvinner. Så det også sånn at i år så vet alle hvem som både uttaler offentlig og understreker at han både vil ha og bør få prisen, men ingen vet helt hvem som faktisk får prisen. Så jeg vil si at spenningen stor blant de nesten 100 journalistene som til stede her. Det hadde vært langt flere hvis det var mulig, men det var altså grensa, for da var det fullt i dette rommet. Interessen høyere enn noen gang.
Knut Magnus, du har hørt nøye på hva Nobelkomiteen har sagt de siste dagene, og hvordan vil du oppsummere det? Hva det de sier på forhånd?
Komiteen har for det første vært langt mer aktive i å kommunisere ut på forhånd. Jeg opplever at det viktigste punktet for dem har vært å få ut at de uavhengige av den norske regjering, at de understreker forpliktelsene sine i forhold til testamentet, og så har de vært opptatt av å kommunisere ut at dette ikke en pris for det som nødvendigvis skjer akkurat nå, men det som har skjedd det foregående år, altså egentlig i 2024, men en kan også ta hensyn til ting som har skjedd inn i 2025. Her ser vi bilder fra på andre siden av denne brune døra, og Jørgen Vatne Frydnes, som sammen med Christian Berg Hartvisen i Viken, sekretæren av komiteen, gjør seg klare til å komme inn for å kunngjøre det som denne store nyheten som alle inne i dette rommet og framfor TV-apparatet og på andre vis rundt omkring i hele verden nå venter på, nemlig hvem som i 2025 tildelt den store æra å bli vinner av årets Nobels fredspris. Et år altså interessen større enn noen gang før. Mye takket være hvordan det blir kommunisert fra Det hvite hus. Og så får vi bare vente og høre hvilket navn som faktisk vil bli formidlet fra denne nye talerstolen, nygamle talerstolen. Det er altså slik at den opprinnelige talerstolen her i Nobelinstituttet er tilbake, og derfor vil nå Nobels fredspris bli kunngjort.
Good morning. The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, to a woman who keeps the flame of democracy burning amidst a growing darkness. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado. She is receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. As the leader of the democratic forces in Venezuela, Maria Corina Machado is one of the most extraordinary examples of civilian courage in Latin America in recent times. Ms. Machado has been a key unifying figure in a political opposition that was once deeply divided, an opposition that found common ground in the demand for free election and representative government. This is precisely what lies at the heart of democracy, our shared willingness to defend the principles of popular rule, even though we disagree. At a time when democracy is under threat, it is more important than ever to defend this common ground. Venezuela has evolved from a relatively democratic and prosperous country to a brutal and authoritarian state that is now suffering a humanitarian and economic crisis. Most Venezuelans live in deep poverty, even as the few at the top enrich themselves. The violent machinery of the state is directed against its own population. Nearly 8 million people have left the country. The opposition has been systematically suppressed by means of election rigging, legal prosecution, and imprisonment. Venezuela's authoritarian regime makes political work extremely dangerous. As the founder of Sumate, an organization devoted to democratic development, Ms. Machado stood up for free and fair elections more than 20 years ago. As she said, it was a choice of ballots over bullets. In political office and in her service to organizations since then, Ms. Machado has spoken out for judicial independence, human rights, and popular representation. She has spent years working for the freedom of the Venezuelan people. Ahead of the election of 2024, Ms. Machado was the opposition's presidential candidate, but the regime blocked her candidacy. She then backed the representative of a different party, Edmundo González Urrutia, in the election. Hundreds of thousands of volunteers mobilized across political divides. They were trained as election observers to ensure a transparent and fair election. Despite the risk of harassment, arrest, and torture, citizens across the country held watch over the polling stations. They made sure the final tallies were documented before the regime could destroy ballots and lie about the outcome. The efforts of the collective opposition, both before and during the election, were innovative and brave, peaceful and democratic. The opposition received international support when its leaders publicized the vote counts that had been collected from the country's election districts, showing that the opposition had won by a clear margin. But the regime refused to accept the election result and clung to power. Democracy is a precondition for lasting peace. However, we live in a world where democracy is in retreat, where more and more authoritarian regimes are challenging norms and resorting to violence. The Venezuelan regime's rigid hold on power and its repression of its population are not unique in the world. We see the same trends globally. Rule of law abused by those in control. Free media silenced. Critics imprisoned. And societies pushed towards authoritarian rule and militarization. In 2024, more elections were held than ever before, but fewer and fewer are free and fair. In its long history, the Norwegian Nobel Committee has honored brave women and men who have stood up to repression, who have carried the hope of freedom in prison cells, on the streets, and in public squares, and who have shown by their actions that peaceful resistance can change the world. In the past year, Ms. Machado has been forced to live in hiding. Despite serious threats against her life, she has remained in the country, a choice that has inspired millions. When authoritarians seize power, it is crucial to recognize courageous defenders of freedom who rise and resist. Democracy depends on people who refuse to stay silent, who dare to step forward despite grave risk, and who remind us that freedom must never be taken for granted, but must always be defended, with words, with courage, and with determination. Maria Corina Machado meets all the three criteria stated in Alfred Nobel's will for the selection of a peace prize. She has brought her country's opposition together. She has never wavered in resisting the militarization of Venezuelan society. She has been steadfast in her support for a peaceful transition to democracy. Maria Corina Machado has shown that the tools of democracy are also the tools of peace. She embodies the hope of a different future, one where the fundamental rights of citizens are protected and their voices are heard. In this future, people will finally be free to live in peace. Thank you. Questions?
Mr. Chair, the attention this year has been a bit further north. How are you as a committee going to make sure that the topic of this year's Peace Prize, democratic development in Venezuela, is highlighted in the days and weeks to come?
First and foremost, we hope to get your help, because the media obviously plays an important role in highlighting the humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, but first and foremost, the immense and impressive work of the opposition in that country, so that they will still have hope to fight for a future of freedom for their country.
Congratulations to Maria Corina Machado and the committee on the decision. But during the past months, US President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, think of this, and how has this campaign-like activity by the president and his supporters, domestically and internationally, affected the deliberations and the thinking in the committee?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee has seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
Hello, Viviana Piena from the Norwegian News Agency. As you state in your explanation, more and more countries are moving in a more autocratic direction. Would you say that the committee, by this prize, is sending a warning to the world?
Living in a world where we have less and less democracies and more authoritarian regime means that the world is also getting more unsafe. And we believe that peace, democracy is a precondition for peace. And so yes, that is the message to the world. We need to support the democratic forces also on behalf of peace. Thank you.
The Polish press agency, PAP. This is the next Nobel Peace Prize in recent years when woman has been awarded. Do you feel that women all over the world and in certain countries play a significant and a certain role protecting democracy, taking into consideration the Iranian activist from 2023 and Venezuelan democracy protector that has been just announced as a laureate? Thank you.
Thank you. As quoted in the announcement texts, in the long history of the prize, brave women and men from around the world have stood up against repression again and again. That is a key element of the Peace Prize, and we've seen it once again, that Maria Machado has been a unifying leader of the opposition in Venezuela, and what they did in the election of 2024 was incredible, and it gives hope to an entire country.
Mr. Chairman, Christopher Ronneberg from Aftenposten. We've seen in previous years that awarding the Peace Prize to dissidents can put their lives at more risk than it already is. You mentioned yourself that she has been in hiding for quite some time. What considerations have you made when it comes to her safety and security now that she has become more exposed because of this Peace Prize?
You're now touching upon some of the absolutely most difficult dilemmas in the work of the committee. This is the discussion we have every year for all candidates, particularly when the person who receives the prize is in fact in hiding because of serious threats to her life. She is very active in Venezuela, has been and will be. And so we are also taking the consideration that this prize will support her cause and not limit it. Thank you.
Do you expect to see her in December in Oslo?
Again, a question of security. It's too early to say. We always hope to have the laureate with us in Oslo, but this is a serious security situation which needs to be handled first. Thank you. Then I'll say thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for coming, and we'll have individual interviews.
Nobels fredspris 2025 går altså til Maria Corina Machado, en viktig demokratiforkjemper og opposisjonell i Venezuela. Berit Reiss-Andersen, tidligere leder for Nobelkomiteen.
Oh, that was kind of a relief. I was so afraid. No, actually, I was quite sure that that fucker Donny Tudors, as we call him in Norway, after he was just allowing $2 for each family this Christmas. We hate him we hate him even more than you. We really hate that dictator Donald Trump, and this is just great. It's so incredible great. I think now that I know that Donny Tudors is not receiving the Nobel Prize. Even I knew that in advance, but now maybe I can speak a little bit better English because I'm not that nervous anymore. To give the prize to Venezuela is a great way of provoking Donny Tudors, that fucker. Maria Corina Machado. Well, I don't know much about her, except that she is fighting against that dictator in Venezuela, which Donny, he loves that dictator. He is a dictator himself, and he only appreciates dictators like Vladimir Putin. Well, that is, of course, what is his name? Putin. Vladimir Putin, we call him, because Putin means, you know what it means in Spanish. Vladimir Putin. And Xi and Kim and all those other fuckers, dictators, Donny is one of them. So yes, I really think this is great news for freedom against this dictatorship. And Donny Tudors, he must never receive any peace prize, no matter what happens the next year. Never. We cannot support a dictator which is against the freedom of speaking, which is putting heavy censoring on YouTube and Twitch and Meta, and everything is screwed and fucked up. We can or not trust American government and American media platforms because there is a very strong possibility that Jeff Bezos will just eliminate my Twitch account, and I don't right now remember who owns Alphabet, but that my YouTube accounts are under threat. I'm sure of it, because I'm against them. I'm against them because I'm for freedom of speaking. Free speaking. Free. No limits. Absolutely no limits. What is... I was wondering what that light was, but there's something in the studio in Oslo. Well, thank God, which I don't believe in. I do not believe in God. If there was a God, he would have given Donny Tudors a heart attack and stroke long before he even became the president. So we would be saved from that shit that we are experiencing right now. And as I said, we will never buy a single American product and never subscribe to a single channel, except of course I have to subscribe to Jeff Bezos and to Alphabet because I'm streaming there and I don't want commercial breaks, so I have to pay them, which makes my heart broken because I do not want to support them. We need a European alternative now. There is a Norwegian platform, HUD, which is supposed to replace Meta and their fucking Facebook, but it's so slow. Well, the application is not slow, but the growth is so slow, and there is no possibility for live streams and only small videos. We had to have limitless videos so that we can express ourselves in Norwegian media platform, or at least one European, which is for peace and not for those fucking wars that Donny Toodles is starting. They're starting war all over the world. War against every country. He hasn't made a single deal. Trade negotiation. He doesn't know a thing about negotiating. Right now on one of my other screens, I see one of my favorite YouTube channels, Two Men in Black and White. You must subscribe to Two Men in Black and White on YouTube, which is very, very, very good. There are lots of good YouTube channels. Maybe the most important is Midas Touch, Ben Meislas and his two brothers, and also Legal AF is quite good. And most serious is Rick Wilson Against All Enemies, but that is not very active, only once a week or something. But at least Lincoln Square is putting out some good videos, at least every second day. Wish more activity. Edda Muckler, fantastic guy, and his friend Chris is not bad either. Chris, I don't really remember his last name. And Harry Sisson, make more videos, Harry. You are great. There are so many great streamers. No, they are not. Some of them are streaming, but mostly they are editing videos. And maybe I should do that, because then I can edit away things that is badly pronounced or has the wrong grammar. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Embarrassing it is. I will be back, but not in English. I think I will post some English videos in my YouTube channel, which is called, what is it called? Well, Helgeland vlogs in English, I think it is called. I think so. I haven't been using it for lots of years because I gave up speaking English because I was embarrassed, because I don't think I'm speaking good enough English. But never mind that. Now, this situation is solved, at least for 1 year. The Nobel Peace Prize is going to Venezuela, to Maria Corina Machado, and that was a very big and nice provocation against Donny Toodles, that fucker. I really hate him. Yeah, that's all for me. Have a nice day.